Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Talk with TQ. I'm so thrilled today that I have a great artist who happens to be a photographer who does work that's very, very thought provoking. I'm enamored with his work because anything that makes me think is a good thing. That's the way I look at it. And his work definitely makes me think. His name is Alan Haywood, and he's really a great photographer. I'll say I find his work to be exceptionally sensitive, and it really purely provoked emotion in me as I was looking at it. And today he's with us on Talk with TQ. Thank you, Alan, for coming on the show. I'm so thrilled.
Thank you for having me. I'm thrilled too.
So tell me, when did you start taking pictures? Because when I look at your pictures, it looks like it's something that you've always done. When did you
Yes.
begin this vocation?
Well, I started as a hobby. I had gone to a camp when I was a teenager, and they had a dark room, and my mother had given me her old like Kodak kind of fold out camera, and I was able to, take some pictures and see them developed in the dark room, and it really spiked my interest. And then in high school, I took an after school class with a renowned photographer and my mentor, John Shearer, who was a life and look photographer, the second Black staff photographer behind Gordon Parks. And he taught a bunch of guys, about photography in the dark room. And I just kind of kept on it. My parents let me put a dark room in a laundry room when I was a kid, and just took it from there and applied to Rhode Island School of Design and was accepted. And so spent 4 years there and got a Bachelor of Fine Arts in photography.
It's interesting. I find that a lot of people, I'd say of a certain age, that would include myself, we started doing photography, or we learned photography by developing black and white footage in rooms, makeshift rooms in our homes. It sounds like you had a very similar experience.
Absolutely. Yeah. Very rudimentary, but, was a lot of fun. And the dark room was some place that was, you could kind of get away from things and just get into your own head and make images. It was like magic.
Yeah, it is like magic. Black and white photography, many say, is really superior to anything else because it's the best way to learn, because it's really about capturing light. Now, I noticed in your work that you have some pictures. I've seen a few pictures where you did an extraordinary job of capturing light by making things look almost a little bit ethereal. I'm thinking about one of them in particular where it was like a man was walking, and they use a very good, I should say, I don't want like as a trick, but you have like this style of capturing light and shadow. Tell me what your philosophy is on that, because I find the work very intriguing, because it's very much, your work is very much about light and shadow, and it provokes deep emotion.
Yeah, I don't know if I have a philosophy. It's just kind of how I was taught to see, light and shadow. And it's part of me. Whenever I look at anything, that's what I see first. And black and white, is a way to, it negates the color, and you're really just looking at shapes and composition and angles, and try and translate what you see into the camera.
You're really capturing truth. I made a statement recently to some people online, and it just kind of came up for me. They were trying to philosophize about photography, and I was just reading along. I said that photography is truth captured in a split second in real time. Your work epitomizes it.
I mean, they say the camera never lies, but I don't know if that's true.
Depends on who you're
Depends
talking
on how
to.
you manipulate the camera and the image, but it does, you can capture truth and power with the camera.
Yeah, now the images I saw and a couple of the images that stuck out were people walking and almost like a shadow following them. It's hard to actually articulate it because I see the whole picture in my head,
Yes.
but you did an outstanding job of depicting this motion when maybe there was minimal motion and light when there's minimal light. And what I could see is that you provoked emotion within me in looking at something. And I won't say what it was, the emotions that you provoked, but you did a really good job of it. I think it takes a special person behind the lens to be able to recognize that. So, what do you like? How do you feel? And how do you know when you've seen an image that's worth snapping?
I don't know. I think it's mostly just instinct. You know, I've just taken so many pictures that you're drawn to certain um, environments, to certain um, types of light. My favorite time of day actually is late in the day where the sun is low and it casts, longer shadows and you get a lot more contrast in your pictures. And that's kind of my favorite time. Obviously there's other times of day too, but that's kind of what I'm drawn to because of the quality of the light.
Yeah, I have to say, you really show some mastery of art with your work. Tell me, when did you said you started doing this, as a hobby. When did
Yes.
you know that you had crossed over to it being more of like, I'll say an avocation and then perhaps a vocation? When did you know you had crossed over?
Um, at the end of high school, I decided that photography was something that I was really drawn to and that I could kind of maintain a focus in that direction. And once I got out of college, I knew that I wanted to make that my career.
That's great. I'm glad you did that.
Yeah. And
Not everybody.
I started out just, as a lab technician, and I had some, you know, um, non-photography, but not non-photographer jobs, but related to photography. And then I started to work for John Shearer, and I got to work and teach photography to kids at alternative high school in White Plains, and I learned that I liked also, relaying my knowledge to other people. So I kind of combine, my own photography and teaching photography to others.
That's beautiful. I think it's a lot of things that artists do because they feel I guess for whatever reason they do it. I always have to stop myself when I say because they might feel, because I really don't know what they feel. But I'll say that for me, teaching is just a way of giving back for the gift that you have of being able to see something in a different way than other people do.
Yeah, it's a way to pay it forward.
Yes, pay it forward. It took me a while to understand that concept. And I think at my age now, I definitely understand that concept now. Who is it that paid it forward in your life? Like, who was your teacher of photography that actually inspired you to get to the level you're at now?
Well, it was mainly John Shearer, because I did work with him for about, I want to say 6 or 7 years. And I also, he taught uh, Columbia Graduate Journalism School. So I was a teacher assistant there. That's also how I got more into teaching. And we worked together doing corporate editorial photography and studio photography for a number of years.
Yeah,
Um,
that's quite a
so, he was my mentor. But yeah, I've been influenced by a lot of other people. In college, I had a couple of well-known professors, Aaron Siskin and Harry Callahan, who were fine art photographers. And I emulate a little bit of Aaron Siskin. Both of them, as a matter of fact, they've influenced me as well as many other photographers.
Now, I understand that you have an exhibit that you're involved in right now, or you're showing your work right now, or maybe you just finished showing your work.
Well, we just had the opening. It is a photo photography retrospective at Bethany Arts Community in Ossining. It opened last Friday night, March 10th, and it runs till April 14th. And so it's a solo show, and I have
nice.
probably over 70 works there.
So where's the Bethany Arts Community? Just so the audience knows in case someone wants to show up there.
It's 40 Somerstown Road in Ossining, not far from Route 9A. And it's a community that draws artists in to do their own work. They have classes and they have residencies, they have exhibitions, they have music, dance, poetry, all types of media there.
It's a great place to do a residency. Bethany Arts. Yeah.
Yes.
It really is. I think it's quite an honor that they're having you exhibit your work in a solo exhibit. Where are the other places? I know you've shown in other places. Have you traveled your craft around? You seem kind of well traveled. I just have this feeling that you've traveled a bit. Am I correct?
Well, yeah, mostly, within the United States, a couple of Caribbean islands, but mostly around here. In 1995, I was sick and I was diagnosed with heart failure.
Ooh.
And in 1997, I had a heart transplant. So since my transplant, I've made an extra effort to travel, to see what I can see and capture what I can capture with the camera, because I've had this second chance at life.
Yeah. So I guess that changed you a bit. Did you find that your art changed, that your photography and just the way you chose what to shoot, how did it change you, having sort of like this brush with, I guess realizing your own mortality? It's got to be huge. I can only imagine.
Yeah, I can't really put my finger on how it changed me, but I'm certainly more self-aware of life and the fragility of it all. So I'm trying to, make every effort to make the most of it.
That's excellent. I'm so happy that you survived that.
Yeah.
And what a miracle to get a heart transplant.
It certainly is a miracle.
What do you think is your specialty? Because a lot of people, they specialize, they actually create their own niche. And I'm wondering if you've done that. I didn't really notice a niche for you. All I notice is that
I have lots of directions. So people are a big part of what I like to do. Textures and details and things that most people kind of dismiss and don't really look at. There's beauty in decay and rotting things or things that are falling apart. So I've done a lot of kind of abstract expressionism in that way, and landscapes and very graphic types of scenery.
Yeah, I saw some beautiful landscapes that you photographed. And I find that some people can like shoot a picture of a landscape. It's like, okay, yeah, I know what that is. That's the riverfront. Everybody does it, you know?
Yeah,
But you were able to capture like a different perspective. Those are the kind of things that draw a viewer like myself in when you see it from a different perspective. And you seem to have a good way of doing that. And then finding, I guess a lot of times it's like I've heard another photographer who we both know said sometimes it's luck just to be at the right place at the right time. And so
absolutely.
and you've captured some sunsets, or you captured some landscape outdoor images where you were just there at the right time of day, and the light seemed to be waiting for you. Do you ever feel like the light is waiting for you to show up and take the
Yes,
picture?
but it's fleeting, so you got to be ready, like you said, be there at the right time. Yeah.
Find it makes a difference what camera you have, because nowadays a lot of people, I mean, I know there are great cameras, everything from, I'll just say what I know, from a Pentax to a Nikon to a Canon Renegade, which seems to be like the go-to big camera now. And sometimes I've seen people take pictures that are outstanding because they're in the right place at the right time, and they actually do it with an iPhone. Do you ever find it like
Yeah.
in a pinch, you just grab your phone and click because it's what you have?
Yeah, a camera is a tool. So, you know, some people like certain type of hammers and some people like other types of hammers. It's really how you use it rather than the actual tool.
Yeah. And also it
Yeah.
depends on who's on the other side of the lens. Like if you're on the other side of a lens, you're probably going to see something different than if like my next door neighbor's at the other side of the lens, you know?
Everybody has their own vision and they see things in different ways. Yeah.
I could definitely appreciate what you do. So I just get a vibe from you, because the place where I lived for a period of time, and I saw your pictures online, I said, boy, he gives me this vibe of people that grew up in Greenburgh, New York, near where Cab Calloway lived. You know, that's the
Yes,
feeling I got looking at you, because you look like part of that crew.
that's where I grew up.
Oh, see, I thought you grew up in Ossining. I didn't know that. See,
Well, no,
whatever.
I grew up in Greenburgh. Yeah.
Okay,
But
so you
I've
know
been
where.
in Austin for the last 43 years.
Oh, 43 years, that's a big, long time. So
Yes.
somebody would beg to differ that maybe you grew up in Ossining. Not, maybe it wasn't Greenberg, you know?
Yes.
43 years is a long time. So in Greenberg, there are a lot of celebrities that come out of Greenberg, which you probably know. I dropped one name. I dropped Cab Calloway.
You know, had taken pictures of him a couple of times, not necessarily a one on one, but I was engaged to do um, like a wedding at his house and a couple other things. So I had met him briefly, but yes, there's a lot of people coming out of Greenberg, out of Woodlands High School where I went.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people before me and after me have made their mark in music and all kinds of other creative, outlets.
Shooting a wedding for someone as creative as Crab Calloway and that crew. So how does it feel? I've asked other people this question off camera and just in general, to be working with a subject or subject matter of another creative. That's got to be so special for you. I mean, Cab Calloway's house, a wedding there. I could imagine who was at that wedding. You don't have to, if you want to just be like drop names, that's okay. You can name
Well,
drop.
I don't really know. It was really for a friend of one of his children that got married there.
Oh, I know who
Um,
you're talking about. I really do. I actually know who you're talking about.
yeah.
I won't say
So,
his name. I
oh,
won't say his name. That's like the church I got married in. I met him there. That's
okay.
Cab Calloway's grandson. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
So you've had your brush with celebrity. You're a
yeah, I've
celebrity
met a few
yourself.
people here and there. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
I used
Greenberg
to
crew, you
I
know?
used to do Jackie Robinson Foundation dinner where there were a lot of celebrities there. So that was fun.
So they were awestruck by you, right? You were the celebrity walking in the room with the camera.
No, I wasn't the celebrity. I was just the guy holding the camera.
No, it's a guy that everybody is cognizant of at things like that. Seriously. So it just is very, I'd say, impressive to me. I guess I'm always a little starstruck by other artists, and when I meet someone like you, that I could just had the vibe. I knew there was something in me that knew that you were part of that Greenberg crew, and you sort of epitomize it. I think anybody that sees you would know that you were a creative something. You did something creative. You exude the creativity. And that's a good thing.
I don't know. I don't.
I know you're like I always say, I'm on the other side of this face. I really don't see what you see.
Right.
But I'm very impressed with your work. Are you going to be showing your work anywhere else after this current exhibit in the future?
I don't have anything solidly booked right now, but I hope to, continue showing.
Yeah, it's early in the year.
Yes.
It's early in the year, and I think that people will be really happy to see your work. Now, just give my audience the address of your current exhibit in Ossining.
40 Somerstown Road.
Okay. 40 Somerstown Road, Ossining, New York. And it goes on until April 14th?
That's correct.
Right, I was listening. Yes.
Right. So we're having a closing reception on April 8th, along with a brief talk about organ transplantation and organ donation.
Right. So I'm just going to digress a little bit about your organ transplant. I've done a few interviews on this particular show, a few interviews with organ transplant recipients and donors. How did you get involved in the organ trail?
Well, because I was in need, and I became involved with the community of transplants at the hospital, New York Presbyterian Hospital, and my family and I, became close with a lot of the other transplant people there. And we subsequently had a couple of art shows to raise money for other people that were waiting, who couldn't afford medicine, or people that were having family come from out of town that needed places to stay. So we raised not a lot of money, but we tried to raise some money to help people like that.
Yeah, well, I congratulate you on having a successful heart transplant. So your plans going forward, you're going to keep snapping that shutter, I hope.
Yes.
Yes, please.
That's what keeps me going, along with my family.
What are your favorite venues in the Hudson Valley? Because the Hudson Valley is rich with imagery for anyone that's an artist doing anything. So what are your favorite venues to take pictures?
Recently, before the pandemic, I was going to a lot of venues that had jazz, and photographing the jazz musicians, and working on those files.
Yeah, jazz brings a lot of people together. It's one of those genres that brings a lot of people together.
Right.
I think I could talk about jazz. Do you think you'll be doing any jazz venues or anything where there'll be music that we're moving into warmer weather? At least that's a rumor I heard.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that. That's how James and I met, through Ray Blue.
Yeah, Ray Blue. He's been on the show.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I hope to continue, taking
He's quite an image to photograph.
Yes, he's a good subject.
Yeah, he's a very good subject to photograph.
Right.
Yeah, so it's almost like you're part of the family, at least at the Talktq family. He's been on the show, I think, at least twice, and he brings a lot of energy, a lot of good energy to the lens. He does, for sure. And
Yes.
so you saw him was it at the Bean Runner Cafe?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, I had a show there when he did his birthday bash. So like a local artist, Karen Allen, and I did a musical show. You know, all the images were music related, and we called it Local Vibes.
Oh,
And
nice.
he played after the show, after the reception,
Yeah, Karen
on his
Allen.
own. Not for us, but it just worked out that
It
way.
worked out well, didn't it? Karen Allen's a
Yeah,
great artist.
yes,
And
she is.
I'm pretty sure she's been on the show at least one time, and she's such a nice person. What's the website address that you have that the audience can actually go to your website and look at your work if they want?
It's alanhaywood.com.
Okay, that's HAYWOOD.com.
Yes,
Alan, A-L-L, no, A-L-A-N,
yes,
HAYWOOD dot
yes,
com.
right.
And that's where you can see more of Alan Haywood's wonderful, wonderful work. Now, I look forward to seeing what you come up with next as we go into the warmer weather, because I find that photographers do a lot of photographing. They do a lot of photography as the weather gets better. Where could someone like sneak up on you or spy on you taking pictures? Not that we'll do that, I'm just curious.
I don't know. It depends on which way the wind's blowing, I guess, and what's going on.
Okay. Yeah, you're moving with the spirit, and that's the way it should be. And I'm really
Right.
glad. I'm really glad that someone like you is out there taking pictures of things and seeing things from a different point of view. And I have to say, I'm very impressed. You did provoke emotion in me with some of your work, because
Well,
it's
thank
there's
you.
something mysterious and something like very heartfelt about it. You know, with the capture of light and shadow. It's not something that's so easy, which people think you just snap the picture, click, that's done. It's not as simple as that. So that's why I appreciate what you do, Alan. Thank you so much for coming on the show. You
It's
know,
my
and
pleasure.
yeah, the
I
pleasure's
enjoyed
all
it.
mine. And I'm
Yeah.
hoping to catch your show as well on
Yes, please.
Somerset Road in
Yeah.
Austining.
Right.
40 Somerset
40
Road.
Summerstown Road.
40 Somerstown Road, Austin, New York. You can
Right.
see Alan Haywood's work there until April 14th. That's the day before the official tax day. Not that I want to
Right.
make anybody feel unhappy, but that's the day before your taxes are due. So it should be easy to remember. And thanks again for coming on the show, Alan. I really do appreciate it so much. And I
Thanks
look
for
forward to
having me.
having you come back, because I know you'll have more work, because the camera keeps clicking, you know? So maybe you'll come
Right.
back sometime and talk to us about your latest work. I'd
That
love
would
to
be
have
nice.
you.
Yeah, I'd like that. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you again. And it was my pleasure to interview you and have you on. You're a good guy. I like the way you are. Okay. Have a good night. So I'm
You
going to
too.
say good night to the audience. I'm going to welcome everybody to come back to Talk with TQ. And I promise, as I always do, to find the most interesting people I can find on the planet for you. Bye-bye.